Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Cyberdeck Podcast. This is episode 3. I'm Paweł Burza, and I am joined, as always, by my friend and co-host, Cree. Cree, how you doing?
I am doing great. I'm a little bit tired. I just came back from my trip over to Seattle, where we were able to have two live streams. One kind of detailing lots of cool art, game design, and organized play news. And then we had a big celebration stream with the team. We showed off the Kickstarter campaign. We showed off lots of different members of the WeirdCo team. And we watched the number go up. And my lord, did the number go up. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a crazy week, I have to tell you. Like, apart from us, like, traveling from Seattle back to Europe and for me back to Poland, seeing, like, every day the amount of support the card game is getting is just incredible. Doing like history when it comes to backing on Kickstarter for a TCG is also something that kind of blew us away. But like you said, like the highlight has to be for me for sure getting to meet all of you guys in person, hang out, talk card games, talk about the TCG, playtest also a little bit, which was super exciting to kind of see the development of the game and the growth of it. So I couldn't ask for a better last week, to be honest.
Amazing. I'm so jealous you got to do playtesting. I was so busy last week. I just got to see the team, and we did some really cool stuff, not to tease any specifics, but we're a fully remote global team. We had this really cool experience where we put loads of cards up on the wall and people left post-its to give their opinion about cards and stuff, and it was such a great like collaborative experience, and just being able to be in person with the whole WeirdCo team was truly awesome. And we got to show off so many cool things, right? All of the Kickstarter campaign, all the different pledge tiers, accessories, add-ons, etc. I will show on the screen right now. We also have our organized play graphic, which I think a lot of people have been asking about. Some people may have missed the stream, so if you're curious to learn about our organized play structure, this graphic highlights kind of the high-level breakdown of what these events will be, from kind of a demo and pre-release event all the way up to our World Championships. I'll also plug the stream where our organized play manager, Nick, if you're curious to hear more about organized play, feel free to go back and watch the stream. When he presents himself so well, he could do a much better job than we can ever do, in my opinion. But organized play is exciting.
Stellar. He just came in and pretty much had the whole spiel ready. But what I have to say, it's very important that you guys are already thinking about organized play at this early stage, because this is what a TCG player that wants to be competitive or wants this game to become something for them that can be potentially the game that they want to get into and be competitive in is a must. And I'm really happy that it starts at the local game store level and kind of builds from there. So when it comes to like getting into the whole thing and accessibility, I think if you're a new player or if you haven't played any TCGs, you can actually have a chance to try it out for yourself, and it won't feel as cutthroat as some other TCGs are in terms of like community already like being hardcore and ready, and kind of very hard for you to find a space for yourself in this whole thing. But yeah, and there's also a lot of cool stuff planned for the future, which we kind of teased a little bit but haven't talked in detail. So there will be more coming when it comes to organized play, and trust me, it's worth the wait. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait to really start talking about that. It's we really tried to hold back and not tease too much about it, but listen, I know, as you said, organized play is so important to not only the players, but also the local game store, right? Help support them with events, and that's where community is going to grow. So I'm really excited to, when we get looking forward to retail release and seeing players in person, playing pre-release event, etc. We're a little ways off from there at the moment, but with how much support the community is showing, I think people are eager to get started. So I think
I also feel like with the Kickstarter kicking off, I feel like based off of my experience, I've just been seeing a lot of my friends that I play other TCGs with really just have been hitting me up and like, hey, when are you guys doing a demo in our store? I want to check out the game. I want to play it. Are you going to have like a judge system for people to get into? Like, where's all this information? Because they saw that the game is really getting a lot of backing on Kickstarter. We're currently, I think, over 12 million, which is incredible.
12.4. Yep.
12.4, which is crazy. And I feel like people are like, okay, this is something that I want to get into. when can I get my hands on the game? So I told him like I already have alpha kits that I can showcase, the one that we used for the gameplay reveal we did back in January, but for next, that exact thing, the Holy Grail. But if they want, to see kind of something when it comes to closer to the final product, they're going to have to wait a little bit. But I'm more than happy to do like demos in the local game stores that I frequently go to. So yeah, I think the excitement is there, and we just need to keep on going from here and showcasing more of the cards and kind of the abilities, the mechanics, because this is what people are really getting excited for.
I agree, yeah, and I want to say, for folks who do want to try out the game, feel free to go over to our Kickstarter page, and there will be a section for print and play decks. So, if your LGS does not have access to demo decks at the moment, which we are currently working towards, it's a process for us at the moment. But we encourage anybody to print off the Alpha Kit decks, maybe bring them to your local game store, show the store owner the game, and just let them know that you're interested in the product. I will also want to say, we've been, the community support has been amazing, and I know there are a lot of questions that a lot of people want to have answers to, regarding everything from like OP questions to judge program to clarification on, card count within the set. All of this information is coming. I'm the person leading this communication, so trust me, I see all of your comments. You guys are heard, and I'm doing my best to make sure I can formulate, some key updates to keep you guys informed throughout the campaign and beyond, all the way up until Kickstarter fulfillment, and you guys get the product in your hands. But Burza,
knowing you read everything. Like I see you. You go through like all the comments. You're very meticulous about it. Yeah. So whatever you guys write, trust me, it's going through the team. It's also you, but it's also the rest of the team. Everybody's very open to reading everybody's feedback, kind of getting what you're feeling about the game. And what I have to say, you guys are also like super when it comes to just being reactive and replying to people and actually engaging with the community. So kudos to you guys, because it's been awesome. It's been really awesome, and I got to see it firsthand when we were in Seattle. So kudos. I
appreciate that. That's some very kind words, my friend.
Of course.
But yeah,
give credit where credit is due.
Do you want to talk about some cards, Burza?
Let's do that. Like, we showcased some of the cards. I think we're gonna start with Al Cunningham. She's of course is a legend. You know her from Cyberpunk 2077. You also probably know her as being the girlfriend of Roger Boy, Johnny Silverhand. That's one of the things. She's also an engram, so she's stuck in the net. She was responsible for developing the infamous Soul Killer program, and this program was actually used on her, so she became a engram that is stuck within the net, and she is super powerful. She was one of the best net runners in Night City, so keep that in mind. She has, of course, the Go Solo ability, which is interesting. She's a 6/4. When this legend steals a gig, you may remove this legend from the game. If you do, choose a program from your trash, play it for free. So this is something that you can trade her in for, but you can play a super important and powerful program for free, which sounds like a crazy, awesome ability. And it also works with her character, so the flavor is there.
For sure, yeah. Alt is an interesting card to try and digest. A lot more context will kind of have to be given to understand the true power of this card. But from a flavor perspective, yeah, I think it works really well. A couple of synergies to point out. I mean, we already kind of talked about it when we mentioned, Meredith Stout and some of the other cards that interact with the trash. But for example, it's the Yorinobu Arasaka, the other legend from the Alpha Kit, the one where, you can draw and discard a card to your trash. The idea of where you can get the biggest advantage out of Alt is probably where you're able to kind of already discard a very high-costed and highly impactful program card from your hand to your trash, so that when you bring out Alt and when you're able to steal a gig, then you can instantly, play that program from your trash. And it means that you don't have to play the program beforehand, right? Maybe you want to play the program beforehand. Maybe it's a cheaper program. You get some value out of Alt. But if you're trying to get the most value, maybe you need to do some of that kind of discarding from your hand. But overall, card seems very, very interesting, and it seems well balanced in my opinion. Some people are going to say, it's 6, it costs 6, but it only has 4 power. but the ability kind of is what does it justice, right? That 4 power, maybe that's all you needed to get over some blockers or something like that. But 4, all you need is to be able to steal that 1 gig, and then you'll be able to activate the ability.
Yeah, from a game design perspective, like she cannot be too powerful in this case, since the ability itself is very powerful.
Yeah.
And knowing like some of the cards that are kind of being worked on, there are ways in terms of like getting stuff in your trash. So sometimes you can, let's say, throw in something big there, and you're like, oh, how do I use this again? And that's when I'll kind of lets you use that program. And actually not paying for it and using it for free can be something that turns the tide of the game in your favor. But I also like the cards that kind of give you a choice. Do you want this to be a go solo unit that you're going to be using to attack during your attack phase? Or do you want to get rid of her, remove her from the game? But in this case, you have a choice of using a program and playing it for free. So these are the little choices that we as card game players like, and I feel like the flavor is here. So it's really, really cool.
For sure. Yeah. Seems like I mean, I don't know if you played with this card of playtesting. We're not teasing anything. As I said, I didn't get to do a lot of playtesting. So
I saw someone play with it. Okay. So I liked the ability, and I was like, this is super interesting. And a lot of people, I think the feedback was that the card just works in a way that it is right now. So when we're kind of giving some of the feedback when it comes to the gameplay part. So I agree. Kind of like giving you a choice is awesome, and then that of course has its own consequences, but I think it's super cool, and it's a awesome character. I'm happy Alt has her art. Of course, it's by Pandarts, so I love their work. And this one's just amazing. Like her being the engram stuck in the net, and the way she looks here is just 10 out of 10. Awesome.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say is I think we've already revealed our rarity system and rarity keys. So I guess we can confirm this is the iconic rare art. So there will be another alt with the same ability, but just with a different skin, a different variant essentially. So I actually don't even know if I've seen the other one of this alt, so I'm very, very excited to... people have been saying in the Discord, oh, I like this art, I like that art. Like, there are some arts for what we refer internally as the base pieces that I prefer, even sometimes over the iconics. But, that's what art is. It's subjective. There's something for everybody.
Of course.
And, I mean...
Everybody has their own favorite. Like, it always is. Like, sometimes you like the arts on even base rarity cards, and that's totally fine. But sometimes you want to, like we were talking, like, some people really want to pimp out their deck and have, like, all the coolest stuff. So in that case, like, you can really go crazy. But I think we're both more like base rarity
players for sure. All right, we'll take a look at the next card. This is V Street Kid. This is the male version, so it's a legend within red. It has 2 red ram, of course. It's a merc. It costs 4. It's a go solo legend, has 3 power, but it has a very interesting effect here, which says defeated, trash the top 3 cards of your deck, then choose 1 Braindance program from your trash, and and then add it to your hand. It's quite interesting.
So I was saying, like just previously, there are options where you can trash some cards and then you can try to get them back. So kind of like having this synergy, like a bigger synergy with your, let's say, discard pile or trash pile in this case is cool. This is also a card game mechanic that I think we all love. And I like that there's a little bit more depth also added once again. And we're seeing Brain Dance once again, so maybe there will be something like more cards that are kind of tied around Brain Dance. I don't know, maybe, since we're seeing more of them.
Brain Dance deck? Maybe.
But yeah, like adding apart from the Go Solo, adding something additional and having like a defeated also tag, which I think we're showcasing for the first time. I don't think we have shown any
I think
cards.
It is the first time, yeah.
Yeah. So this is also cool. Like if you think about it, from adding another layer of complexity to the cards, if a card is defeated, something happens. So it's not that sometimes you want to maybe throw a card under the bus because you want to be going for a Brain Dance program that you know is super good and you want to use it. So you want it back in your hand. So once again, more layers to the complexity of the game makes it just, adding a little bit more interaction is always cool. And this art is also
Oh, incredible. I love this art. Yeah, it's stunning. Yeah, I mean,
leaping into action.
It's cool. We've seen a lot of legends so far that have been revealed, and like, already let's think about, 3 legends that we can pair together here. So we've got like V Street Kid, you can play Alt Cunningham, and then you could also play the Evelyn, which I believe was the one that helped you find some more Braindance cards. You got a lot of Braindance synergy and program synergy. So you guys can already see what maybe there
might
forming.
Be some potential archetypes forming.
Maybe a blue-red deck exists, right? Potentially.
Who knows?
Talk to me about this again. This alt art essentially of V Street Kid here, the next card.
Yeah, so we have female V. I know there's a lot of players that are kind of either going like, oh, I want to see male V in this role, I want to see female V in this role, will we be getting more of these and these cards? Like what's really cool is you guys are open to creating like almost anything that's possible. So as many Vs as possible, looking totally different, and also showcasing the style of the artist that you're working with. So we have this one once again by Pandart, and yeah, like the card, it's the same card, but it just looks totally different. And also we have once again V jumping into action. This time she's using her Mantis Blade, as you can see on her right hand. So, and that one was V, male V with a gun. So yeah, solid, totally solid.
I know.
I'm in love.
I think somebody asked in the chat during the stream. We've seen Corpo V, we've seen Street Kid V. People are asking, is Nomad V? I think Johnny said, there's probably something in the works.
I think we did it in the stream, and I asked him like, so since people are asking about all of these, I'm like, what about Nomad? And he's like, yeah, we're looking at everything. We're looking at everything. We know what people are kind of gravitating also towards. You guys also understand what you enjoyed from your time with Cyberpunk 2077. So having that and putting that together is important, and probably you can wink expect something.
Yeah, and we want to try and make sure that is going to be a lot of different types of Vs for lots of different types of people, because V is you. V is your character. Yes. So, expect to see a lot of different variations, throughout the game's progression. But moving on to the next card, these are 2 that were highlighted on the stream, and I just wanted to take some more time to dive into them a little bit more. So feel free to talk about this first one here.
All right, we got our man Placide, known from the Voodoo Boys quest that you do. I remember when we were doing early demos for Cyberpunk 2077, this was one of the quests that we showcased. So when you're meeting Placide for the first time. So he is in 810, so that's quite a powerful stats on him. And he has an ability on play and an attack, which is you may discard a program from your hand. If you do, bottom deck a rival unit, which is very strong because he gets rid of a unit, which can pretty much mess up your opponent's, let's say, blocker or something that they can use against you. He's a 10 power, so he is going for 2 gigs if you're attacking your opponent, going for the gigs. So, and discarding a program also. Maybe you want to be getting a program. You saw alt, you want to be getting some programs in your trash, and then trying to create a combo piece. This is once again something that is super interesting because, like I said, more layers and more complexity, but also combo potential. Players really love when you have multiple interactions across multiple cards, and here you can do a combo that consists of Placide, alt, and a program that you want to discard, and then put those things together. You can have a very powerful churn.
Yep, for sure. One thing I want to point out is I saw a couple of people in the Discord talking about the RAM value of Placide and saying, 2 RAM, this seems like it's a very, very flexible card. It's a very powerful card. So I think people were asking about, why that specific RAM value. And the interesting thing is, while like the RAM is a great balancing tool, what I'll say is 8 is still quite a lot to get to, right? And this is a type of card that I feel like it excels against a certain type of deck, if that makes sense. So like in other TCGs I've played, this card kind of reminds me of a card I would want to play where the opponent is playing kind of a control strategy. So they also play big, powerful units where this kind of single target removal is most effective. Whereas if I'm playing against a deck that wants to go wide, Placide's maybe not as strong. He's not bad. I think the point you made about taking out a blocker is actually extremely relevant. Like, that could be a very key card to take out. So you play Placide, he does it instantly, and then you need to be able to attack through with whatever other units you have. But the condition's also big. Like, on play, discard a program. So you need to basically have 2 cards in your hand to activate this, and then every other time you activate this, you're also decreasing your hand size. So you need to have some type of loop or some type of synergy where you can constantly keep fueling this card. So I am quite fascinated with the balancing of this card, but it seems like, there's been a decent amount of testing here, and there's a lot more context that we probably need once we see some more cards as well.
Yeah, I think once we see more cards, it will kind of build something. But what we're kind of seeing already is when it comes to blue color, there are some things that are kind of more, let's say, on the control-y side, or kind of trying to create like these cool synergies between the blue cards. So I'm excited for them, to be honest, because I know this is something that players also look forward to.
Yeah, I know game design wanted to show off a couple more blue cards. This is one of the reasons why they wanted to bring this card and show it off on stream. But the next card, I want to talk about this one, because this is a quick hack, something that was debuted during the stream, and this is kind of us really showing to the community that we're listening, right? A lot of people were talking about the Alpha Kit experience and saying they wanted a little bit more, interactivity and stuff like that. But the Alpha Kit, again, was designed to be the kind of basic starting point for people to learn the game, people who maybe aren't as familiar with TCGs. And now we look at a card like Cyberpsychosis, and this may be, catering towards the TCG players that want to have a bit more skill expression and really be able to show off the versatility and flexibility of certain cards within Cyberpunk TCG. So speaking about Cyberpsychosis, it is a quick hack. It's a yellow card. It costs 2 and it has 3 RAM. So to break this down, it says you may also play this program when a unit attacks by paying this card's cost and spending a friendly unit or face up legend. So that first kind of like little paragraph is basically just another way that you can play the card. The main effect of the card is give an equipped unit +2 power this turn for each of its equipped gear. Defeat the unit at the end of this turn. So Burza, I feel like we talked about this a lot on stream, but I still want to break this down even more, because this alone, there's so much to digest. I think it's really fascinating as we're starting to show off this quick hack system, like the versatility of this card. So I'd love to hear your opinion of it.
So I actually I was playtesting and I had this card.
Really?
One of the decks that I was playtesting with.
Okay.
And I have to tell you that I was surprised by the overall power of it, because I was my kind of objective in that gameplay loop, without spoiling a lot, was trying to get as much gear onto units as possible, and trying to create like these beefed up, fully cyber weird, gonks, or just other like characters. And this was something that pretty much gave me a huge swing. So something that gives you a huge swing. Probably, I remember this was something that in late game felt super powerful, because +2 power for each equipped gear in a deck where you're trying to get as much gear as possible onto single units is a lot. Of course, there is the downside of defeating this unit, which plays on the flavor of Cyberpsychosis, because these are people who have enhanced their bodies in such a way that they lose their humanity and they start going crazy because of it. So, that pretty much the ending is max stack rolls in and defeats you and you're gone, or you pretty much just flatline yourself from just having too much, cybernetics on you. So I love that. And like you said, I also like that the team is thinking about people who are saying like, okay, I don't want to have the game structured in a way where there is a main phase where I play my cards and I sell cards, and when I'm readying everything and I'm using my eddies, then moving to attack, and kind of not having this interactivity in the attack step, or in, let's say, in the defending step of the game. So this is very, very crucial to showcase that, one, you guys are listening, 2, you're adding more depth to the game, and that there's a little bit of everything for other players. And you're also like playing and testing these things and seeing if they work. And Cyber Psychosis, I have to say, looks like it was working the way it was designed. So really fun card.
Yeah, the flexibility of this card's great as well, because oftentimes you could just end up paying 2, like even before the the attack phase, and you could just buff up your unit and you're feeling great. But it's the potential of leaving some eddies ready, and then if your opponent wants to swing in, you can kind of think about this card as a very cheap source of removal, like, but it could come at a cost, because depending on what your opponent decides to attack, then you might have to like sacrifice 2 gigs in order to take 1 unit out. But Cyber Psychosis is like kind of that perfect answer card to one of your rival's units that's absolutely decked out, chromed out with lots of different gear, and you want to make sure that, okay, I need some way to get rid of it. So the versatility, the flexibility, I am really excited to see more quick hack cards, and I'm sure the rest of the community is too. So yeah, and art-wise, this is stunning. I was looking at this art more and more, and it's like it looks like there's like the blood on like the lens nearly, right? You see like that beside the Cyber Psychosis title. So yeah, from
art by Michał Iwan, really awesome. But I actually didn't think about using this quick hat on your opponent's unit in this case, where they have nothing on them, and then it's just like target removal.
Well,
right,
they need to have they will need to have some gear, because it's given a quick unit plus 2 power. But like even if they have like a Mantis Blades or something like that, it's like, okay, I'll buff you up. Or Kuroshi, like I'll temporarily buff you up, and then you're gonna basically get defeated. So lots and lots of flexibility here.
Really cool.
And I'm excited to see
that. I just thought about it like in a second. Like I could use that also on my opponent, and I'll be like, yeah, I'll mess you up.
And when you do that, it's like all you actually are effectively doing is you're paying 1 extra for the card. Like you're paying 3, because if you're spending a face up legend or a friendly unit, it's just instead of potentially stealing a gig, you just use that as spending 1 eddy essentially, and then you get the advantage. So and
it's also that you need to keep kind of in the back of your head that there are some turns where you want to maybe leave something open for this purpose. So not only eddies, but also sometimes just using a unit that you don't want to be potentially attacking with, but you want to use it because you know that your opponent might have a really strong next turn, and you're pretty much then open to kind of play around. Or actually, let's say like you use this on an opponent's unit, you have a blocker, then you just block that and nothing really happens. Even if you beefed up the unit to I don't know how many points, but the important part is that that unit is being defeated at the end of this turn, so you're getting rid of a potential big threat. So this could also work, let's say if you're playing a mirror match and your opponent has the same strategy, then this card pretty much shines.
For sure, I agree.
Yep.
So that's all the cards that we have, because we didn't want to reveal too much more. We want everybody to enjoy the Kickstarter campaign and have a look at all of the cool goodies and accessories, rewards. As I said, we are still constantly listening to the community, and I've been doing my best to answer queries and questions within the Discord. If there is anything that hasn't been answered, what I can say is, again, I have it all noted down, and I will be doing as many updates as possible throughout the rest of the campaign. But I will also say we've had some really cool art reveals happening across the past few days as well. I'll show some of them on the screen right now. One of my favorites, and I think it was maybe a community hit, was did you see the Sketchy Ripper?
Of course.
Yeah.
I totally reposted that as soon as possible by Michał Dziekan. So yeah, everybody was like, oh, this is so cool.
Yeah, it's and there's so many cool and distinct like styles. There's one that it will be out by the time this podcast comes out, but there's one coming out today. I guess I could say it because you're going to be posting this after, right? Yeah, of course I can.
Of course you can.
So we're gonna have Nadia coming out today from the comics, and that art piece is one of my favorites throughout our entire game. It's actually on one of the comic covers. It's the white and the red, and it's really like, I just can't wait to see what that looks like with some potential foiling effects, or obviously based on the rarity we'll see. but that art is stunning, and I can't wait to see it on a card. And I just can't wait. I've learned so much more about like these characters within the Cyberpunk universe, all of the comic book characters, right? And I'm hoping that with this game, you get to really appreciate all the really cool artwork from there, and maybe that encourages you to dive deeper and to take a look at some of these incredible stories, because there's so much available within the Cyberpunk universe to explore.
Yeah, I think it was also one of the things that was asked by people, especially in chat when we were doing the streams for the launch of the Kickstarter. A lot of people were asking, like, how deep can you go when it comes to Cyberpunk in terms of like creating art? Isn't it like you guys will run out of ideas very quickly? Like, you have to bear in mind that, of course, we have Edge Runners, which is the anime, and we're working on other stuff in the future, and we have the comics. So there's a lot of like things to pull from, and it also comes to all the different art styles that you guys can utilize, and the ones that you can also create for this to kind of match all these things. So I mean, there's endless possibilities, and we haven't even touched, on stuff like characters from Phantom Liberty or other characters from numerous side quests and stuff like that. There's a lot of cool also like equipment and a lot of cool things that there's so much potential here that can be tapped into, and I feel like we're just getting started here.
For sure. I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised. I've got some really cool art reveals coming throughout the rest of the campaign. We're going to have a couple more surprises dropping throughout the campaign as well. So, potentially more add-ons, potentially more bundles, who knows. But we want to make sure that we're looking after the community. And I just want to say, thank you so much for the support. It's been overwhelming, frankly, and it's just been amazing to see the community reaction. And I know everyone's super passionate already, and they want to be heard. And you can see that we're listening to this community, right? We listened when folks were talking about the Legend Pack, right? Yeah. So
you guys did that super quickly, like.
Yeah, that was that was a great moment as a team, though. We really came together, and we were able to listen, take on the feedback, and act. And I think it worked out for the best. It was great. And now everyone, we heard about the feedback for the tier 1 and tier 2. Rebecca's available for everybody, and I'm really excited to get my hands on that novel, Rebecca. That art is absolutely stunning.
I love it too. I love it too. She's one of my favorite characters from Edge Runners season 1. So easy. And I wanna say that from our side, like, we're also super thankful for the support. This is a IP that we at CDPR like really care about. We love Cyberpunk. We live and breathe Cyberpunk 2077. So seeing the amount of support and also the like all the cool messages coming in from people, it just gets us all excited and kind of like, I just can't wait to play the game myself, to get others to play it and just enjoy it, and have a card game set in Cyberpunk is just it's awesome.
Yeah, there's so much more to come. Like, it's crazy to think, like, with all of this support and hype and excitement for the game, we are still at the beginning. We are truly at the beginning. The moment I'm truly excited for, and I talk to you about this a lot, Burza, is like when I can sit down with players and see them have cards in their hand and see them playing in events and maybe getting in the booth with you for some events, man. That's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm down anytime.
Yeah. Sounds
I think
great.
we do a cool job casting together, and I mean, we're both passionate about the game. So but yeah, like you said, like I think the moment where I know that everything is going according to plan is when actually we get to go to our local game store and see the game there and see people play it and start forming a community around it. Also, at the local game stores, like every week you come in and you meet up with someone, and you have the people that and that you're all kind of connected by this love for the game is what card games are for me. So having this and this be something that we get to work on is like, it's even better.
It's crazy.
Right? It's crazy. Like mind-blowing.
Yeah. Community is the biggest thing for me. I still to this day, I play a couple of different TCGs in my spare time, and the community is what always draws me back to the game. Yes, the game has to be great. Gameplay has to be, I have to have fun playing the game. But it's the people I get to hang out with. It's the trips I get to go on as well. At TCGs, you get to see a lot of the world as well. You get to go to different places, go to different events. I mean, I just, we were just in America, and I'm back home. I'm going to Boston tomorrow. So I want to say, anybody that's going to be present at PAX East, please come over and say hi. Honestly, by the time this episode is aired, PAX East is probably in full swing. So if you happen to be listening, you happen to be at the event, come over to the booth. You can look up WeirdCo on the exhibitor stuff, and you'll be able to find us. And I'm just excited. Yeah, this will be the first time I get to interact with like the public, who will be able to come over and demo the game and play the game. So it's going to be very, very exciting.
That's super awesome. That's super awesome. I like also like getting the initial feedback from people like when they get their hands on the game is always cool. Like it's always cool. And what you guys do and what the gameplay team does is like they're really asking people like, what's your initial thought? Like, what do you think? What would you improve? What worked for you? What didn't work for you? What was your favorite card? What was your least favorite card? Like they ask you all these questions, which is like really cool because it seems like, everybody cares about the design and kind of how the game feels to play, which I think, sometimes even if you don't know all the cards, even if you're not, let's say the best player, because we're just starting to develop this and kind of, seeing if what works, what doesn't, kind of getting the initial like, oh, is this okay for you? Is this not okay? How does that make you feel? It doesn't matter the experience you have. It just matters if it feels good to play or if it doesn't feel good to play, which is super important, especially when you're starting a TCG, is that, okay, like whenever a player gets their hands on it, it needs to feel good. Like it needs to feel good when you're flipping a legend, where you're playing a card. And based off of that feeling is that you want more. You want more. You want to do that more and kind of, So really, really awesome. Hopefully we can get in the future someone from the game design team. They're all brilliant. They're all amazing.
They're awesome.
It was awesome to meet everybody in person. So but have like these cool like TCG discussions with you guys. So hopefully in the future we can also like dive a little bit deeper and also talk about what the process is in terms of like designing.
I would love to. Like I would love to. Yeah, this week team's very, very busy, just traveling and stuff like that. But I'd love to get some of the game designers on in the future. And honestly, I'd love to have like Johnny or Matthew on from the creative team again. That was super insightful, learning about that whole process and breaking down some of the art pieces. So yeah, my favorite thing.
I can talk with Johnny for days.
Of course, yeah. My favorite thing, honestly, was just showing off all the incredibly hardworking people at WeirdCo. I mean, yes, you and me, we're here every week. We're talking about cards and stuff. There are so many people whose passion goes into creating this product, and from the marketing team to the creative team to the game design team. It's. I feel so honored and so grateful to be here with the community, with you, with everybody on this amazing journey, and Thank you once again. But I think that will do it for this week's episode. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are interested in watching some more episodes. I heard some people saying they wanted us to...
comments.
Yes.
I've been loving the comments, so leave those comments, keep them going, because I read all of them. I don't react maybe with all of them, but I read the comments. And also like a huge shout out to everybody who has been saying that this podcast is actually working for them. And this, like in the sense where like, let's try this because we want to talk about cards and see what people's reaction is. And for what we've seen right now, it is positive. But if you have any feedback or if you want to know something more, maybe we should include a segment here, let us know. More than happy to do that. But yeah, thank you for like all the cool messages that we received when it comes to Cyberdeck.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I'm looking forward to doing more episodes in the future. So yeah, that'll do it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and myself and Burza will catch you guys in the next one.